You know, what's funny is that the left has no problem saying that people need to set their boundaries for their mental health, but we're not allowed to set boundaries for our country.
Thank you. And that is such a good point, actually. And I've thought about this and I've talked about this over and over, is that the things that the left will accept on a national scale, they would never take that and accept it on a personal level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even take the whole idea of racial tensions in this country, right?
Yeah.
If this was a tension or some kind of drama between you and a separate human being, would you keep picking the scab every time you see them and bringing up the trauma that separates you and that caused friction?
Very good analogy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, and that's what we do every time. We highlight the worst possible points in history or the worst possible things that happened between racial groups or sex groups. And you would never do that in a personal way with a relationship if you want the relationship to prosper and flourish and do well, right?
Now's the time to finally speak up. And if you're scared to, remember, it's Republican, not Republicant.
I'm really excited to be here. We get to finally chat in person.
I know. I'm so excited too. I saw you and I jumped up and down. So it's like, it's fine. It's fine.
It's crazy because, like, sometimes you meet people and you just know that there's like a vibe connection immediately. And I got that with you, even through the internet, which is so funny, you know? But that's how it works, especially when people are like earnest and authentic online. That's when you can actually connect with people and you can see that they're like showing a part of who they actually are and aren't just like putting on airs or something.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can absolutely tell, especially in this like modern day with people are exposed to so much content, so much information, so many different people and stories and everything, especially the younger generation. They're very quick to pick up on inauthenticity and all of that. So I think that's actually a good thing because it's like sharpened people to know that like BS won't fly. You know what I mean? So, and they can try to fake it as much as they want to, but people will be able to see through it no matter what. So I actually like that. I think it's like it puts people on their toes as they should be. Like, people shouldn't be selling us BS, you know? I don't know if we can curse on this podcast, but I'll try to keep it kosher.
No, why?
Well, I'm wearing a cross, you know? I'm wearing a cross.
No, but you absolutely can.
Okay, perfect.
I chew on a daily basis.
I know, I try not to. I'm trying not to sound like a sailor.
Too. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I say that I swear like a sailor.
I
did get reprimanded at an event once. And I was like, that's who I am.
So I better take it or leave it. You know? It's been such a crazy year. Like, 2025, I couldn't, if you gave me 1,000 guesses to what my 2025 was going to be in December of last year, I never would have guessed. So I like went to this fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. My friends went there and we went to Palm Beach, and I didn't even go to the event, but I stayed with one of the major donors there in Palm Beach, and I packed for a 2-week trip to Florida.
Yeah, weren't you gone for like forever?
A month and a half. I was gone for 45 days. It was insane.
Oh my gosh.
But it was crazy. There was lots of ups and downs, but I ended up going to New York for like 4 weeks and working the primary campaign out there, which was wild, especially now that it's like a national story, you know? And nobody likes Adams in New York, and nobody likes Cuomo either. Very few. And the only way that we got people to sign for Eric Adams to get on the ballot is a way for him to split the vote from Cuomo to give Mamdani a chance. So Mamdani was like on everyone's lips. So I knew he was going to be a major player. And I think it will, what is the word? Bequeath us or behoove us or whatever to take him seriously, because even though we kind of laugh like, oh, silly little socialist, you know, no, he has a lethal mix of AOC and Barack Obama on his side. And I spoke to one of his coworkers who works on the city councils with him, and they said Mamdani is an amazing campaigner. He's so good at campaigning, and he has very little interest in the actual work of governing or doing his actual job. And this is someone who supports him and likes him. This was a Democrat saying that, right? So like they said that he's great at like media bits and little talking to people and raising his elevating his public profile. But when it comes down to like the nitty gritty, the actual work for New York City people, he has no interest in it. He did a lot of high profile things like, exactly. That's what we need. We need more, what are those called? It's the project you do when it's like for your ego, like an ego project. There's a vanity project.
Yes,
yeah, we need more politicians pursuing vanity projects.
We don't have enough of them.
We do not have enough of those. Yeah, we need more inauthentic vanity projects. Wonderful.
That's fantastic.
But I mean, I was kind of laughing because I think it was either the New York Post or maybe the Daily Mail, one of the more right-leaning mags, was trying to expose him by playing his YouTube videos of his like earlier rap things, you know? And I'm like, honestly, you're just making him look kind of cool and or authentic and or like human. So it's like, we live in a different world now. And it's interesting that some people haven't caught up to it, you know, and haven't like realized what the world we're living in now. It's not the 1980s anymore. Yeah. There's very much kind of like eat the rich in the zeitgeist now, which I don't agree with. Listen, I come from a communist country, as you do too. Partly, we're both Russian, by the way. So we got that Slavic power working for us. And we live in a different world now, and economic disparity and poverty and all of that needs to be something that people on the right are better at. They need to get better at speaking about it. Right. You know? Because I think we're almost long past the just like pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Yeah. We've disproven that time and time again.
No, we're struggling right now.
The prices of homes, the prices of school, anything like that that's supposed to give you a head start into living the American dream is so out of reach for so many people now. And that's really sad, you know? And it's a lot of people that are maybe from an older generation don't understand that it's not just like, oh, you know, don't spend so much money on matcha and then you'll figure it out. It's no, babe.
There's a bigger root problem.
100%.
That has to be addressed before anything gets better.
We're getting paid less than if you go back generations, you know, comparatively. We're getting paid less. And then the money is worth less because of inflation, too.
And we're working more hours.
And then everything is more expensive, too. Yeah. So it's like, at what point do you see opportunity there? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then if you look at the stats, I think under Biden, what was it like? It was something like 60, 70, or 80% of like new jobs and positions were being filled by non-American born people.
Yes, I saw that.
So that's just so interesting to me because it's like, why is America a benefit to everyone but Americans? You know? Like and that shouldn't be a controversial take.
No.
It should be something that is obvious because America is for Americans, whether you're black, white, gay, straight, man, woman, as long as you're American and you want what's best for the country and you take some ownership and you take some stewardship of what happens here. I made a video talking about how like, it's like the Clueless thing where she talks about America being like a house party, you know? Yeah. And it's like, that is what it feels like. She came to the wrong conclusion because it's like you only want people coming to your house party that are going to contribute, that will respect your home and not break the laws and get the police called. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we seem to have gotten rid of that because it's this like toxic empathy of the left.
Exactly.
It's a toxic empathy that they also weaponize.
Yes.
You know?
That's what I was going to say too, is like we as humans want to be kind people. And what they've done is they've hijacked that kindness and said, well, if you don't do this, then you're not a good person. And people don't want to be mean.
Right.
But in order to protect your country, in order to have resources for poor people or people who need it or are veterans, we have to say no. You know what's funny is that the left has no problem saying that people need to set their boundaries for their mental health, but we're not allowed to set boundaries for our country.
Thank you. And that is such a good point, actually. And I've thought about this and I've talked about this over and over, is that the things that the left will accept on a national scale, they would never take that and accept it on a personal level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even take the whole idea of racial tensions in this country, right?
Yeah.
If this was a tension or some kind of drama between you and a separate human being, would you keep picking the scab every time you see them and bringing up the trauma that separates you and that caused friction?
Very good analogy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we do every time. We highlight the worst possible points in history or the worst possible things that happened between racial groups or sex groups. And you would never do that in a personal way with a relationship if you want the relationship to prosper and flourish and do well, right?
If you want to hijack it and absolutely ruin it, you would.
And you would, exactly.
Yeah.
So if it makes sense for the personal, then it also should make sense for societal, you know?
Exactly.
And another good example of that is like I'm in recovery, you know, I used to be addicted to fentanyl.
Which you are, how did you even come out of that?
It was, you know, literally through like, it's like cheesy, but like through family, friends, prayer, community. That one of the biggest things that got me is like moving out of state for a while. I moved to Minneapolis for a year for work. Yes, changing your environment is a game changer for sure. But for example, if the government, if my parents did what the government does, like, okay, let me just provide clean needles for my son. Let me provide him the drugs.
Make it easier for
you.
Let
me make it easy and create like a safe space for using drugs. That would be enabling, you know? So how is it not enabling when the government does the exact same thing? Like, let's give you the needle things and all that. It's like, you really have to think, like, what is your intention? What is the outcome you're looking for from this? And it doesn't seem like it's positive.
No.
You know?
And that's what I've kind of tried to do with politics too, is like always think about the motivation. Like, what does one side gain? And what does the other side gain? And like, especially through COVID and stuff too, when I was reading and researching everything that was happening with the mandates, I'm like, there is so much to gain by getting people to like take the shot, versus the people who are going out there and risking everything and being blacklisted on everything to say maybe don't do that.
Right.
It's like, you have to look at motives for like, if you can't figure out if a fact is true, then you have to think about the motivation.
Yeah, and that's
like
actually
logic.
A great point, because one side or one opinion, you have to sacrifice everything to hold it, and the other opinion will get you, you know, deals, money, protections, and then what's it called? Like a social currency. You know what I mean? So it's completely toxic, and it's interesting because you said that like the left seems to have a monopoly on like empathy.
Yeah.
But I communicate this to people on the right as much as I possibly can, because people on the left will be like, you know, they're separating families. Look at this picture of this child being torn away, blah, blah, blah. And then the right will come in like Ben Shapiro being like, well, if you look at the facts and figures from 2018 to 2019 and blah, blah. And it's like, you lost us already. You lost us already. When I worked for the Super PAC in Washington, what we focused on was highlighting the stories of victims of bad policy. There are plenty of victims of terrible left-wing policy when it comes to fentanyl, when it comes to crime and safety.
Hit emotion.
Yes, you have to connect with people. We're human beings. You can't just start throwing facts, graphs, and figures at people and think that they're going to get it when the other side is giving you a raw, emotional connection and story, and even if it's inauthentic.
Yeah, with a headline and a photo attached to it. And you know, the other thing is like, not only does the immigration issue affect victims of immigration, but also legal immigrants.
Yes.
It's like everything that those people worked so hard for, we've essentially said, oh, that means nothing.
Yeah. Like, because so part of your family is Russian. I know Puerto Rico's like another state, so technically that's still American. But when did your parents come over here?
So it was actually my grandmother. And I think 1940.
Oh, wow. Okay.
1950
Wow, so
area.
before, that's amazing. And then they assimilated.
Into Ellis Island.
Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. My parents came here a year before the Berlin Wall came down.
Wow.
And they got legal asylum. They were refugees fleeing political or religious persecution, because my family was Christian, but not just Christian, they were Russian Baptists. And the Russian Baptists specifically were a very, very persecuted community in the Soviet Union, because a lot of the Orthodox churches and organizations were infiltrated by KGB and communist handlers and all of that, because it was already kind of like an institutional thing. They
couldn't even like go to church.
Right, and they kind of controlled it. It was like tainted a little bit, you know? Similar to kind of what the Nazis did with the Catholic Church in Germany. And so the Baptists would gather themselves in the middle of the night. My grandmother was 19 years old when she was in university studying to be an eye doctor. And she was 19 years old, and her and like 10 other girls got caught doing a Bible study at university. And she got sentenced to 10 years in a gulag for that at 19 years old. And you know the one thing, all she had to do? I know, right? And all she had to do was reject Christ and swear fealty to the Communist Party, and she would have been let go. And she didn't do that. You know what I mean? And that is like, that's one of my biggest motivators for doing anything I do here now is
I love
if
that.
you, and if you compare it to like modern day young people who are protesting and rioting and all of that, are they even going to go do that unless there's like a free pair of Nikes in it for them when they like raid a store? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, what are you willing to actually sacrifice for what you believe?
Yeah. Is it 10 years of your life?
Right. Are you going to put some skin in the game? You know, do you actually have something that matters to you more than your material wealth or whatever else that you value, you know? And that is so inspiring to me. And she was, a young girl when she gets sent to the Gulag. And the most interesting thing about that, too, is there were so many political prisoners in the Soviet Union at the time that they ran out of prison guards. So the people, the rapists and murderers and robbers that they became the prison guards. So the most brutal people became the prison guards for the
actually worse.
Yes. 100% worse. 100% worse. Because then you're giving, and then and communists actually do this quite a bit, is if you give a criminal or someone who has no future or someone that's really screwed up, if you give them power, they're going to be yours and loyal forever because you've given them their entire life. So these men,
it's all motivators, right?
100%,
it's all motives.
100%. Yeah, trace it back to what the motivation is, like you were saying, and that's what you'll see. And it's just crazy to me to think that like the most brutal people that actually committed awful crimes, rape, murder, are the ones that were in charge of political prisoners who are just committing thought crimes. You know?
Bible studies,
and we're not that far away from that.
No.
You know what I mean? In this country now,
we're
really not.
And we were heading full force, and now I feel like all we've done is slow the trajectory a little bit.
Right. And that's kind of all we can do. It's interesting because I was shocked and pleasantly surprised when Trump won in 2024.
Yeah.
Because did it not feel like we were destined to be stuck with this corporate HR type woke, you know what I mean? Offensive to everything. Forever.
And it felt like if we didn't win 2024, we were never going to win an election ever again.
Exactly.
And that was the most terrifying. It's what got me into finally speaking out about politics, because I was like, 2024 is the moment.
Yes.
And it's like, now we still have a lot of work to do.
A lot, absolutely.
A lot.
And this just came to me and gives me a little bit of hope, is that regardless of all of, let's say, the disappointments that we feel with the current administration when it comes to Epstein. Yes, exactly. All of that. It could be worse. It could be much worse. But also what he managed to do is he's taken the fire out of this whole people walking on eggshells, being afraid to offend people.
Yes.
So he's let people be honest and open again. And that same honesty and openness is what's going to hold him accountable too.
Yes.
So I think that overall, that's still a giant benefit. And that's something we should be grateful for. Is that we're not chained to this inauthentic, fake way of viewing the world where it's all about your social credit and what you present that you believe versus what you actually believe, So if it gives us some room to be more authentic and ask real questions, listen, I'm all for it.
I absolutely love that, because I feel like there are so many people on the left that say, oh, you're a Republican, you're in a cult.
Right.
You don't think for yourself. It's like, well, no, actually, we've been given the exact environment that we need to finally speak exactly what we want to say, even if we disagree with our own side.
Yes. And that's what's important, is that you can be as honest and vocal or whatever it is and have your ideas, but if you're in an ecosystem that kills you for it and won't let you sustain whatsoever, it's all going to dissipate. And now we're finally in this space. So I'm not even offended by some of the way more radical opinions that people have about whatever, because I'd rather have some crazy, even wrong radical opinions out there than a hyper curated fake HR vibe, the HR
you can
girlies.
Only have one idea. And that's it.
And you need to live in constant fear of offending people. Who wants to live in that world?
No, it's awful.
Not me, and I know not you either.
Me either.
We were about freedom, and we're about whiskey here at Freedom and Whiskey. Okay.
Yes, we are, baby. Yes, we are.
I was promised whiskey. What the hell?
Me too. Wait, were you supposed to bring it this time?
Maybe it's my bad, actually. I only brought a little vodka. So.
No, but like I 100% completely agree. I'm way too spicy, like just personally to have anybody tell me what I have to say or have to think. I couldn't make it.
No, it's just on a visceral, like, gut level.
Yes.
It just doesn't. I can't do it, you know? And I've been even, approached and sent, like, say, things like talk about this or that. And it would have made my life much easier because I'd be making a lot more money. But I just, like, couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make sense for me. And it came from a place that, A, wouldn't be authentic to myself, but also I just don't think is good, you know? Yep. So I will still sleep better knowing I did that. Sleep better, but broker, which is fine.
It's fine.
But
I understand.
But yeah,
trust me.
Yeah, no,
Trust
you get
me.
it, girl, because it's rough out here. But you know what? Like, I like think back. I was like, do I regret it? Would I want to go back and like make more money, but kind of feel like I sold myself a little bit?
Right.
No, I couldn't do it. So. I will continue being a silly cow and talking about whatever I want and trying to bring some like levity to things. That's why I also love your stuff. And your edits are so funny.
Thank
you
you
obviously put so much like time and effort into things.
8 to 12 hours on
That's
each video. Yeah.
crazy. That's amazing.
By the time I do all the research and gather all the clips, and then I have to actually narrate over all of that.
Right.
So that takes time. And then I have to go edit all of the narration.
Right. No, you're killing it.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then isn't it so unfair that like we can put all this work into our content and at any second it could be ripped away from us for having the wrong opinion?
Oh yeah, I'm in TikTok jail right now. I can't,
me too.
I can't post for a little while yet.
I lost I got demonetized and I got 2 strikes on my account on Meta for promoting eating disorders because I told people that like, hey, I like lost some weight and I was like, listen, you might not need, I'm on OMAD, like 1 meal a day. And I was like telling people, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't like,
OMAD.
Starve yourself, blah, blah, nothing like that. But still got strikes on my account.
Better.
100%.
I feel, because I was having like a lot of like, I just didn't feel good
to
eat. And now I eat like 1 meal and it gives your digestive system like time to heal. And it's fantastic.
And you sleep better. You have more energy. I'm always like groggy and I feel slow after I eat.
I want to take a nap.
Yes, exactly. And I basically like cut. Now we're fully talking on diet now. Hope you guys are on board. Now we're on skinny time. Okay, freedom, whiskey, and skinty. Skinty and whiskey. Freedom and skinny. I'm going to copy you and do a podcast that.
I love it.
But yeah, no, it's like there's so many benefits to it. It gives your metabolism a time to readjust.
It's good for your cells, your mitochondria. It's good for all kinds
and
of
also,
things.
like, if you want to lose weight, like you should be losing weight.
That's
if you're overweight
not why
and all
I'm
stuff.
using it though.
Duh, no, you don't have to at all. You're a skinny queen. I'm like feel like a cow.
No,
but
stop.
No, I'm just kidding. I know.
I'm like, stop right now.
But if you want to lose weight and get healthier and get more serious about that, OMAD is one of the best things you can do because it makes it so much easier to track what you eat. If you're eating everything you're eating in the day in one sitting, and then also it matters a little less what you eat. Like you can just gorge on protein, meats, all that, like what you need to eat to sustain yourself.
And so it's like a 6. Oh, and also I did one where it's like a 6-hour window where I can eat.
Yes.
And I feel like before I was having like, I would get shaky, like I was having blood sugar fluctuation problems. And now I'm like, I feel great.
Yes. Well, I think
Way
there's
better.
something, I've heard something about like girls need to eat a little more often throughout the day because your hormones will fluctuate, whereas guys can kind of get away with doing just like 1 meal. Except yesterday, I did 1 meal a day and got a little too tipsy at the happy hour.
Yeah, it's not good for the days that you decide to consume.
Yeah, you have to have your 1 meal before you start drinking. Okay, that's the
important.
case because otherwise, I like went back to my hotel to charge my phone. And woke up 4 hours later, just like completely like, oh my God, I missed the VIP thing. I missed a house party. But you know what? It all works out. I needed the sleep. I was on a red eye over here. Where do you live?
So I'm in Nashville.
Nashville, that's
but
right. Oh, that's right. We were talking
I
about
was
that.
from Tampa. I was
really?
born in Tampa.
Seriously?
You're in my hometown right
now.
now.
I love that. When did you move to Nashville?
In 2014.
Okay. Oh, so you've been here for like a decade.
I went to school. Yeah, I went to school for music. I was going to be a singer-songwriter.
Really?
I sing and everything.
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
I started learning about the music industry, and I was like, this is absolutely horrible. I hate it.
Yeah.
The sell your soul
Yes.
portion that we were just talking about, that's all of the music industry.
Yes.
Like, really, really bad. I mean,
Yes.
except for independent labels and things like that. But as far as like all your big artists, big time labels.
Yes.
And that's all like really scary contracts you learn. And because you're a baby fish when you come into the music industry, they try to get you to
Take
sign
advantage
these
of you.
horrible deals. Yeah. So
My friend Chandler, she's a singer-songwriter, actress, comedian. Chandler Juliet, go look her up. She's fabulous. She actually posted a video about just that. She walked away from a contract with Sony.
Yep.
Because
You never
they tried
sign
to.
with Sony.
Yeah, they tried to like basically enslave her, and for like
Yes.
pennies on the dollar.
Yep. And they can actually shelve whatever you make and keep you there until the end of your contract. So you
insane.
can't make anything else for anybody.
That's so crazy.
No,
That's so
it's-
toxic and like
It's
abusive.
Horrible. That's why you have to have clout before you could sign a deal.
Yeah.
If you decided to sign a deal,
Right.
So I went to school in Tennessee for that, and then I lived in Hawaii for a couple years,
Oh, nice.
and then I went back to school, and that's when I met my husband, and now I'm there.
Oh, when did you guys get married?
2023.
Oh, well, congratulations. That's still
Thank
fairly
you.
new.
Yes,
I love that.
yes,
I
yes.
love that, queen.
He's a sweetie. We love him.
Love that.
He's good.
American guy?
Yeah. Jewish, Polish.
Polish Jewish.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. I can understand like 40% of Polish, I feel. Because I'm Russian, so I can like,
you're
it
amazing.
sounds very
My
similar.
grandma used to speak Polish.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the relations are better now, but I know there's some like Polish-Russian beef, so maybe
Yeah.
you guys are a part of healing that trauma.
Apparently. Yeah. No, she spoke Russian, Polish, Latin,
Oh, wow.
English, 5 languages. Can't think of the 5th one right now. German.
German, dang. She got like half of Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Oh,
All the countries surrounding the
was
Berlin Wall.
amazing. Yeah. She's like, I'm just gonna learn them all. Just gonna learn them all.
Yeah, that's wild. But that's what I love about the good thing about America, too. Like, beyond us just, it's not our only value that we have diversity and all that, and immigrants and all that. But it is beautiful when people from different cultures come here and actually assimilate and want to, like, take ownership and stewardship
Yep.
and do good and love the country and respect it and all of that. Like, that's a beautiful thing. And sometimes you'll see, like, immigrant patriots are like the most patriotic,
most.
you know?
Yep.
Especially some of like the Cuban Americans
Yeah.
or people that have like actually dealt with collectivism or communism or Marxism,
Yep.
socialism.
They're grateful to be
They're
here.
grateful because they understand the value if
And
you're
that's
born
what
into
I want
it.
here.
Yes.
That is exactly who I want.
Not just people coming to take advantage and then
Right.
people that want to come to America but also hate the country.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. And it's literally like, that's what I said with that house party metaphor, is that like, it's like America's like the rich popular kid in school, and then we'll have some people come over to the house to use the house, but they're all talking smack about them,
Yes.
and they secretly hate them,
Yes.
and there's like jealousy there and all
Yeah.
this, and like, they want to like stick it to them a little bit because they
Right.
feel like they're the country or the person that has everything,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
And that's,
It's a jealousy. It's
Yes.
a form of jealousy.
it's like, how do you hate us but also want to be us so bad, you know? Like, assimilate.
It really is a great metaphor.
It's true.
Yeah.
And like, my parents have very thick accents. You know, I'm first generation. They moved here in 90 and
Wow.
or 89, the end of 89, and they're absolute patriots, love the country, and it's important to understand what the freedoms that we have here, what it actually gives people, and how it's a rare thing. Like, not
Yes.
every country is like this. Even the
Yeah.
ones that we think are comparable, like the ones in Western Europe.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you don't have the same freedom of speech
No.
rights in England or the
you
UK
do not.
or Ireland or all these other English-speaking countries. Not even in Australia. If you saw those videos during COVID,
I know.
insane.
It honestly made me never ever want to go there.
I know.
And I've always wanted to go to
Me
Australia.
too. The guys are so hot. Ugh.
The accents too.
I know.
Man. It's the accents.
I know. They're good. They're good. There's sometimes like a strong Southern accent though, where it's like either the hottest thing ever or it sounds a little like cartoony. You know what I mean? Good eye, mate. Or like I used to watch Jamae Private Schoolgirl. I don't know if you ever watched that show. It's so funny. No. Chris Lilly. He's like an Australian comedian, but she does the most hilarious Valley Girl Australian accent.
How was the Steve Irwin girl?
Oh, yeah. One of my friends was too.
Bawled my eyes out.
I know. And it's very sweet that his son is taking up that mantle and looks so much like him. What's his name?
Robert.
Robert Irwin,
oh,
yes.
Looks like him, sounds like him, has the same care and empathy for the animals.
I know, I love that. And then we're blessed to have someone in Irwin during the time of social media and everything. And he's making it so cute and accessible. Yeah, I love that. You could tell that he was a good man and good father because of the products of his, his offspring. Yep. Which also, I just recently saw a clip where they were replaying the Hillary-Trump debate, and they asked them that one question, what's a compliment or something you admire in the other candidate?
Yeah.
And that's what Hillary Clinton said about Trump. She's like, I like his children. He's raised good children, blah, blah, blah. And that's a valid point.
Yeah.
He can't be the worst monster in the world and then produce, very well-adjusted, seemingly decent kids, you know? So I think that's a point to him.
It's a good litmus test.
Yeah, exactly. Even though, we're not super pleased with everything he's done or lack of doing, know. But
it's nobody and nothing is perfect.
Right.
And yes, we have every right to be mad about it. But at the same time, so many things have been accomplished that it's hard for me to just be like, oh, well, I'm upset. I'll never regret my vote.
Right. Oh,
never.
No. Do you think I was going to vote for Kamala freaking Harris?
No.
That's insane.
Absolutely not. The cackle queen.
And she was just a hollow suit. It was so clear that she had no idea what she's doing. No. And if you go back and watch some of her interviews and stuff, it's so clear that she's drunk and on some cocaine.
Yeah.
And it's dang.
Has no clue what to say.
At all.
No.
And then you think about the concept of, what's it called when you have something on somebody? You can hold something over someone.
You're saying blackmail?
Yeah, kind of blackmail.
Yeah.
Is someone, that's what they always look for, is they look for someone who has some sexual deviancy or a drug addiction, because then you can keep them tight and hold that over their head. So no, we dodged a nuke, no pun intended, with Kamala Harris.
Yes, not even a bullet, which we also dodged.
Right.
But a nuke.
Exactly.
But a nuke.
Oh man, yeah, it's been a crazy. 2024 was crazy. And
I know.
Seems like 2025 is not getting any less crazy.
Yeah, no. I was like, oh well, Trump's gonna be in office. How wild could it get? That was my first mistake.
I know. The threat of World War III and all this
my
stuff.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's been intense, and also how much all these issues have fractured both sides, with Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia. It's it's crazy, but it also feels like a time where a lot of crud is being removed and people are kind of seeing some more bare bones of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's a benefit for if we get closer to some honesty or some kind of truth or objectivity.
Yeah.
That's a bonus for me.
I agree. Oh, David.
I know. God, I could do this forever.
I'm
obsessed with you.
We're just gonna hug.
I spent a lot of time being quiet about who I am, until I realized there was no time left. I'm standing up and stepping up for we the people. Because a government that will give you everything you want is a government that will take everything you have.